folks? Welcome to the channel, Rockin' the Country. I'm Don. I've got an eclectic request here, if you will, or the result of an eclectic assortment of tastes by Renee Mooberry, who made a gift to the channel for me to do Blackberry Smoke's song, Midnight Rider. I don't know if they're covering the Allman Brothers song or what this is going to be, but Renee, thank you for this request. And Renee's down in South Louisiana. So I always like to say that. I mean, you might be I don't know, is that the furthest, the most southern? No. There are folks in, I guess, Galveston, Texas. Is that further south than southern Louisiana? I'm not looking at a map, but I know Texas does go further south. But all that said, I think you wanted the live version. Yep, live from Capricorn Studio. So that's the rendition I got. Hopefully it's not blocked. Vivo's usually the only one that blocks things, but Vivo is not the only one that has potential problems for reactors. Let's put it that way. So that's why I'm a little cautious. But let's see what they've got. I've done a few of Blackberry Smoke's songs before. When I was taking care of my mother, when I first started the channel, actually, I was down in Florida for 2 years. I took care of my mother so she didn't, die in a nursing home. I took care of her in her home until she passed. And the people who moved in right across the street turned out to be right up here from up here in New Jersey, and only lived a mile from where my younger sister lived. It was this unbelievable coincidence. But Brian and Kelly, that's their names, but Brian said, Don, you got to check out Blackberry Smoke, because I'd recently started the channel, like maybe 6 months prior. And he's like, you check out Blackberry Smoke. And I did, and I really liked them. They're sort of like, I call them red dirt, but they're like southern rock country. So thank you for the gift, Renee. Allman Brothers, yep. Cover. All right, so Mark Quinones was brought in. Obviously, the Allman Brothers aren't playing now. I mean, their kids and nieces and nephews are, but, like Derek Trucks. But Allman Brothers had two drummers. They had J-Mo and Butch Trucks on drums. But then they brought in a third drummer, Mark Quinones. And he... did this. And he had been like a jazz drummer, I think, or fusion. I don't know, was it Aldo Nova or it was some group like that. And the Allman Brothers brought him in to play with them. Like I met Mark, I met Butch, I met J-Mo, I met Greg, and I met Derek Truck, spoke with him for a little bit. Backstage at the Beacon, I wound up getting backstage at the Beacon. But right now, it looks like they have just the one drummer. And I'm curious to see if, as they pan, if there's a second drummer that they brought in, because it's not easy to bring in a second drummer to play. But the Allman Brothers were very percussive. That's a workout.
Hey, I'm not gonna let 'em catch me, no. Not gonna let 'em catch the midnight rider.
Love the structure of this song. Would have been Greg on organ, keys. Yeah, that was a really good find, Renee. Like, because I'm a huge Allman Brothers fan. And those like myself who found themselves going from rock and getting into country later in life, and there are a lot of us out there. I know up here in Jersey, that's certainly true. I never thought my sisters would ever get into country music, and they both love country. Like, absolutely love it. Especially my younger sister, Janice. She goes to so many shows with her husband, and and they love it. And I'm trying to trying to enlighten them to the value of traditional country. They're not there yet, but those of us who came to country later in life from rock have the Allman Brothers, Leonard Skinner, Marshall Tucker, to a lesser extent the Outlaws, to thank for introducing us to some of the country elements or aspects. Because even it was couched in rock, obviously, but there were some elements in their music, the lyrics and the storytelling is absolutely traditional country in these songs. Like this Midnight Rider has that too. An open-ended song about a guy that's got to get away. He's not going to let him catch him. And so he's got to keep riding. I got to run to keep from hanging. Whatever he did, we don't know. We don't even get the backstory on that one. And that's just vintage country music storytelling. Now, I don't know if the brothers were covering someone else, but Blackberry Smoke here did a really, really nice job with this. And it's real easy to butcher a song like this because it's so iconic. It's like 50 years old. I don't think it's not 60 years old. That would place it in 65. I think this song probably came out in 72, 74, somewhere like that. And so I'm going to say 50 years old. People have listened to it a lot. Our ears are attuned to what it should sound like. So if you're off slightly, or if you try too hard, or something just doesn't resonate, it's going to be picked up on instantly. And they really knocked it out. I don't know how much rehearsal they had to do. I don't know if the slide guitar that they had in here, if he already played slide. I'm guessing he did, or I'm not sure. I know slide is difficult to play. It's a whole different way. You got to figure, do you want to use glass? I think you can use steel. There are a lot of things you could choose to use, but it's just, you're not using your fingers so much on the fret as much as sliding it. That's it. But he did a very nice job. But the bass player, and Barry Oakley, that wasn't him. That was the Allman Brothers bass player. But hell of a job. I mean, vocally even too, because nobody's going to match Greg. I mean, you're not going to duplicate Greg's voice. But he came about as close as you're going to get to being a good compliment to this song. And I don't know the names of the guys in Blackberry Smoke. If you want to fill us in on that, anybody can fill us in on that part. I don't do research. I react to these songs, but I was pleasantly surprised. And I'll say this, and this is going to sound strange. I like the Allman Brothers rendition of it, but it's one of the songs of theirs that never knocked me out. Like I love Statesboro Blues, One Way Out. They're just, Whip 'em. I liked Whip 'em Post, but I wasn't crazy about Whip 'em Post. I know that sounds sacrilegious to Allman Brothers fans, which I'm a huge Allman Brothers fan, but we all have songs we like and don't like, or songs that we're just okay with. But I loved Ramblin' Man. Right, and I think they put that on as a B-side. I don't even think I think I saw some a while decades ago that they didn't think that was gonna be a big hit. That was just kind of added, and it turned out to be their biggest hit. But, much earlier stuff like, Matthew's Arrival, songs that were instrumentals. I, of course, love Jessica and songs like that. But these guys really did a nice job with this one. Real, I mean, I actually like this rendition right now better than the Allman Brothers rendition, which is odd to like a remake or someone else's rendition, but remakes can be tough to pull off. But maybe it's just because I'm pleasantly surprised, Renee and everybody. But I really did like this one, so I'm gonna rate this one. It's not off limits for me to rate songs that are, just renditions of earlier songs. But the number that popped into my head on this was a 9.3. I mean, I really, really liked it. I just did. So there it is. All right, Renee, with your eclectic, Dwight Yoakam's worldwide number one fan, Leanne Rhymes, worldwide number one fan. And I don't know what else you're going to pull off or what else I'm going to pull off to get that honored, but I don't know where we're going to go from here. But this was really good stuff. So thank you and congratulations, Renee. Have a great day, folks. I'll see you on another video and keep rocking the country.